The business delegation, led by the acting MD of HFC Bank, Anthony Jordan, included over 50 investors from the Caribbean who are in Ghana to invest.
Your Excellency, beyond the promised delivery, our main objective is to support your agenda of a private sector-driven economy by using our presence both in the Caribbean and in Ghana to facilitate long-term trade and investments. This three-day summit, which is under the theme Promoting Trade and Investments, Ghana and the Caribbean, will include, among other things, expert presentations on the various business topics, roundtable discussions, and networking sessions. Mr. President, unlike many summits we have experienced in the past, this summit has an already planned matchmaking program where related businesses from the Caribbean and Ghana have been paired to have private discussions on doing business. By so doing, we are assured of real possibilities for business partnerships and alliances before we close the trade mission. Permit me, Mr. President, to show our appreciation to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Ministry of Business Development, and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center for their immense support for this initiative.
That government is transforming the country's economy from a producer of raw materials to a production-based economy. He added that the growth of the private sector is at the heart of his government's developmental agenda.
We're trying to build a strong economy with a strong emphasis on a strong private sector that can then deliver a dignified standard of living for the mass of our people. That's the overarching goal and what we are seeking to do. And in this scenario, we think that there are two things that are critical. Firstly, strengthening the private sector. We're strengthening the private sector by creating a macro economy that is stable, with low interest rates, low rate of inflation, stable currency, in a competitive fiscal regime that will enable Ghanaian enterprises and those operating from here to be competitive. Competitive within Ghana, competitive within West Africa, within the larger African continent, and within the world. And then secondly, putting in place a policy framework that will enable us to facilitate the structural transformation of our economy. We have been and continue to be essentially a raw material producing and exporting country. There's no future in that for us. We have to shift away from being a raw material producing country to a country which focuses its economic activities on value creating activities. And if we succeed, these are the fundamental goals of our policy. And if we succeed, we're succeeding not just for ourselves, but also for the rest of the African continent. And there I say for the black race around the world. The policy has to be underpinned by a very aggressive drive towards resolving one of the most structural challenges we face, our infrastructural deficit. I speak of infrastructure, both the hard and the soft. When we're speaking the hard, you understand what I mean, our road transport, network of transportation, railways, roads, ports and harbors, as well as obviously our power generation and capacity to industrialize our country. And the soft architect, the soft deficit, which is in our education and in our health systems. We're making a bold attempt to make sure that everybody in Ghana can have access to education, at least to the level of the secondary school for the time being. Maybe that in the course of time we'll find the means to be able to ratchet it up right through to university. But at least to the end of secondary school, we want to make it possible for every Ghanaian child to be able to get a minimum level of quality education.
From the Flagstaff House in Accra, Adele Kwesi Machtube reporting for Metro News.